And we start this morning with scenes of unity in Europe as leaders gathered in London and stood shoulder to shoulder with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. It contrasted sharply with the disunity at the White House on Friday as a meeting in the Oval Office descended into a shouting match between President Trump, Vice President Vance, and President Zelenskyy, with questions now being asked about whether an economic deal is still on the table.
All President Zelenskyy had to do was come in and sign this economic agreement and, again, show no daylight between Ukrainian people and the American people, and he chose to blow that up.
So the deal is no longer on the table, just to be abundantly clear.
Not at present.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand live at the White House this morning. Natalie, where do things stand right now between President Trump and Volodymyr Zelenskyy?
Good morning, Chanel. Well, there's still a lot of shock over Friday's explosive meeting between President Trump and President Zelenskyy. But a source close to Trump tells CBS News that he's still willing to do a deal, but Zelenskyy has to be willing to make peace and show that that is where his mindset is. That's also the messaging that we saw among top Trump administration officials making the rounds on the Sunday shows, that Zelenskyy really has to show this willingness to end or to, move to peace and a ceasefire deal negotiation between Russia and Ukraine. And notably, as you saw in that introduction, leaders in Europe embraced Zelenskyy this weekend. The British Prime Minister Starmer, he convened this summit with top European leaders, EU officials, the NATO Secretary General, discussing security assistance and assurances to Ukraine, and then also mentioned that the British Prime Minister, French President Emmanuel Macron, and Zelenskyy are kind of working on these negotiations to perhaps take a deal to the United States. So we see European leaders now getting involved in these negotiations to perhaps smooth things over between Ukraine and the United States. Really, the goal in Europe is to get this broader agreement that does include U.S. security guarantees to deter Putin from future aggression. Also notable, Chanel, is that the U.S. still has about $3.85 billion in military equipment that was slated to be heading to Ukraine as part of the funds that had been approved under the Biden administration, this continued drawdown from the Pentagon. So we will be waiting to see if the Trump administration gives the go-ahead to send that additional military aid in light of that dramatic meeting here we saw Friday.
Something to keep a close eye on for sure. Natalie, multiple U.S. officials also telling CBS News Cyber Command was directed to pause planning against Russia. That includes offensive digital action. So why did this happen, and what does this really mean?
Yeah, this is something that CBS News confirmed over the weekend, and we're really trying to still sort out what exactly it means. But U.S. officials confirming to CBS News that the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, issued this directive to U.S. Cyber Command to pause planning against Russia. Now, the reasoning behind it, the duration of the pause, still unclear. But of course, Chanel, it comes amid these efforts by the United States to try to engage Russia in these peace ceasefire negotiations as, again, the U.S. tries to normalize diplomatic ties with Russia in a completely different strategy than the Biden administration. A senior defense official would not comment on the record. And notably, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who appeared on one of the Sunday shows, said that he was unaware of the directive. As did a former House Intelligence Chair, Mike Turner, speaking to CBS and Face the Nation. So he said it would be hard to believe that that would really happen. So at this point, it's unclear how broad this directive is and whether it extends to agencies outside of the Department of Defense, other agencies working on cyber. But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, the top Democrat in the U.S. Senate, said that he called this a critical strategic mistake. Obviously, a lot more reaction will be coming as the day unfolds to this news.
All right, Natalie Brand live for us outside the White House. Thank you. Friday's Oval Office showdown between Presidents Trump and Zelenskyy was seen around the world. Speaking to 60 Minutes, Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster, who serviced as Trump's national security advisor during his first administration, said the public dispute would have been celebrated by Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin watches the video from the Oval Office, and what does he see?
Vladimir Putin couldn't be happier, Scott, because what he sees is all of the pressure on Zelenskyy, all of the pressure on Ukraine, and no pressure on him.
The allies look at the video and see what?
What they see is something that's just confounding, a discussion that doesn't reflect the reality of the war in Ukraine, the degree to which this war is a crime against humanity.